First chance I've had to bring this next issue up with you. You've been linked with the Macclesfield job in one or two areas.
Okay.
Have you got anything to say about that?
No. I did read a report from the chairman, which I felt was very supportive of me, which I'm grateful for. But I came here with a design to stay here. I'm a very loyal person, and I've got a good relationship, a very good working relationship with the chairman and the board and the people here. I feel that I've been here over a year now, and for any manager that's progression. I enjoy being here, and this club's still got a long way to go, and I signed a 4-year contract. Of course there's a clause in there that can get me out of it, and there's a clause in there that can help the club. And that's a given there in any contract you sign. But no, I haven't thought about any other job, to be honest. I firmly want to achieve something here if possible.
A manager, you must, as yourself though, David, must have ambitions to manage in the Football League?
Yes, certainly. Absolutely right. And if that ever does come the case, then that'll be for the chairman and me to sort out with, as I say, we're both grown men, and obviously have an excellent relationship, and I'm very honest with him and he's honest with me, and we have no reason to change that dimension.
That clause in your contract, does that relate to sides in higher division?
Goes with any thing, but that's something that's personal and private, and certainly that remains so. I'm not the type of person to reveal private issues, but I haven't had any discussion with the chairman. He knows me and he knows the way I am with him, and we sit down and we discuss the future of the club. We did on Tuesday over a cup of tea, and the areas which I feel we can improve on, and likewise he'll tell me where he feels that, you know, where we can go with the type of ethics we have, the economic structure, and yeah, it's a good way of working together.
We'll come on to the game on Tuesday night now at York City. We spoke to you after the game and you were visibly upset from the result. You've had time to reflect on that game now. Your take on the result and the performance your side put in?
The result I'm disappointed with, of course, because I never like losing. And when you put a team out to go out there to be victorious, certainly here at Field Mill, where we've only lost a couple of games in the 15 months since I've been at the club. So disappointed to lose the game. On the performance, the first half we started nervously, I felt. I think the occasion, certainly we knew that was what was at stake, so there was apprehension there, but you know, that's a human reaction, isn't it? And it's a feeling that you have to get. Felt that we didn't take enough time on the ball, and maybe when we had time a bit more composure was needed, but I think there was a lot of anxiety there. So at half time we addressed that and just said, look, calm down a little bit. It was very tight, the game. We had to make the change because they came here with you know, a different approach again, and tried to pack the midfield out. So we changed the system slightly, which obviously I felt was the correct thing, and it proved to be the right thing to do. But a little bit of luck when Louis puts the ball across the goal. You're just dying for someone to go in there and tap it in, and so there was you know, very little between the sides, and it was a wonderful goal, a strike that was befitting a winning goal, if you like. It was just and the second half, I felt the boys went out there and played very well, and you know, just don't underestimate the York side. You know, they spent a hell of a lot of money. You know, in the purchased 2 centre forwards who I think that, you know, you'd love to have been able to bring in if you could do, but we certainly couldn't match their type of funds, which is no problem to us because we've had to deal with what we've had. But they've got some very good players. So the second half performance, you asked me, I was okay with that. I'm not bad at all. But likewise, I would like to have had a goal that would have got us back in the game.
Apart from the Tamworth game here in recent weeks, you have struggled for goals. You put a lot of faith in certain strikers. Yeah. Has that faith in your mind been repaid?
50%. I'm still a little bit, how can I put it? You want more, of course you do. And we've got what we've got. And we've worked very hard. And the players have worked very hard. We've scored a lot of goals this season. And I think you must mention that. I think we're like second or third in the goal scoring chart. So don't underestimate that either. But I feel here that there's at times there's been a nervousness about us, and sometimes when it doesn't go right, obviously players play sometimes, and that's again it comes down to human nature. That is that you play a little bit inward. We've missed Jake Spate, certainly. I think Jake's ability has been recognised, and he's a very good young player. When I brought him to the football club, I knew what he would bring. Obviously, with his injuries and being absent in the side, it's been a miss because he gives you something different. So, I demand more. Of course, I do. And Carl Perry, when he went on, he showed a lot of strength, and that's the type of Carl Perry that I know we have. I think in recent weeks his confidence has gone down because he hasn't scored. We all know that strikers are confidence players, as is everybody.
In terms of now coming on to this week's game against Histon, they're in 13th place. The league table doesn't like this time of the year, but it's going to be a difficult game whatever way you look at the game.
Certainly. They're a team, and it's we said last year you've got to go down there and stand up for the fight, and I respect Histon, and certainly did last year. I think I upset their previous manager last year with some comments, but I'll stand by those comments. That on the day I was very unhappy, but this year's there's a different manager, different players, and they've certainly got very capable players, and it will be a tough game to go down there. And but my players have got to show the response that we've had throughout this season.
2 wins in the last 10 games for Histon, one win in their last 5 home games. Doesn't exactly point to a side in form at the minute, does it? No,
but you say that, and they go to Stevenage only get beat 1-0, which is a creditable performance, and the reports I get from that game will show that they played decent. They could have certainly snatched something. So I think this league, again, on any day, teams, Hayes go to Oxford and win. So there's you can look into that, but form is about imposing yourself and playing to your strengths.
Looking at your side for this weekend, Luke Foster received a two game suspension. Also, we've mentioned him briefly already today. Jake Spate came on, had a big impact in that last 20 minutes. Is he in line for maybe a start this weekend?
He's not ready to start a game. That would be I think foolish to put him in from the start, but he'll certainly be in the squad. You've got to make sure that you're not sending him back. I want him to keep fit for the remainder of the season, so he'll probably be on the bench. But we'll see how the other players as well. When we've had lots of injuries and we've got another suspension, the back four has not been able to seem to have the gel for over 6 to 8 games, has it? And it's frustrating.
Would I assume that Scott Garner will be in line to come into the centre half position for Luke Foster?
Yeah, well, obviously I'm going to look at things there. There's a couple of options for me, but young Scott has performed very well, and obviously he'll be looking to start if he can.
Returning to Jake Spate, would it be fair to say that he offers something that maybe your other strikers can't?
Yes, certainly he's a different type of player. You look for a blend as a manager, don't you? You look for, when you're analysing a squad and you're looking at various options that you have. When we've gone 4-3-3 this season, or different dimensions that we've had, 4-4-2 or whatever, Jake always gives you that penetrative run, and certainly the enthusiasm and the willingness, and shows his ability. So it's been frustrating not being able to perhaps let Jake have a long run in the side because of injuries, and certainly they've kept him out of the games, haven't they?
Looking at the other injury front, John Challoner, came through Tuesday. Yeah. Okay. Ollie Hotchkiss as well. Where are both of those at? Has John had a reaction to the game on Tuesday?
No, John's fine. Ollie's resumed training now, so we'll look to get him perhaps a game behind closed doors. He needs to get some match practice under his belt. It's very difficult at the moment because obviously games are coming thick and fast, and when you haven't got a reserve side as such, it's difficult. So Ollie's been out of the side now for 2-3 weeks, and again another one that's frustrating that you want to get him match fit, and he's resumed training now. So hopefully next week we can start looking at getting Ollie some minutes on the pitch.
Let's look at the wider context of this game. Okay, the table at the minute says you're 8 points off the playoffs. You take on Histon this weekend. Would it be fair to say now that in one way the pressure's off your team, because your promotion challenge, it relies on other people slipping up, doesn't it?
It's always the case when you start the season, that is as well. You're always relying on other results, aren't you? I understand where you're going. The pressure's always on because I like to put my players under pressure. I want them to perform, but likewise to play, to enjoy their football. But we're still fighting for everything. We've got to do that. That's imperative. That's the type of spirit you have to have inside your dressing room. As for giving up, there's never in a million years would I encourage anybody to give up. And we've got a tremendous team spirit inside the camp. Yeah, we were hurting. We didn't like the defeat. And we are. There's been occasions this season where we haven't done as well as we would like.